Hi, today we are going to discuss about the production possibility curve. So, in order to explain the concept, I'm going to use this example. Now, let's assume that I have two options to do by using my time. Either I can make videos or else I can bake cakes. So, let's assume that uh, by using all my time per day, right? If I'm not making any videos, I have the capacity of baking 15 cakes. But if I'm using my time to make one video, right, I'm losing on my time. Therefore, I can only bake 14 cakes, right, since I'm using that extra time or the other left time in order to produce the video. When I'm moving and when I'm increasing the number of videos that I'm making per day, right, by another one, so in that case I have to give up again on my cakes. Now I can only bake 12 cakes. So if you keep increasing like that, and if I had to produce or if I had to make 5 videos per day, I don't have any time left in order to produce or in order to bake cakes, right? So if you use the amount of resources, right, we know that resources are scarce and resources are limited, right? So that will give up a opportunity cost, and that will create opportunity cost for us. So in my case, whenever I try to increase the number of videos that I have to produce, I have to give up baking cakes. So if I put this into a graph, I'm taking the number of videos to this side and the number of cakes that I can bake to the other side. So whenever I try to increase the number of videos that I'm making from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and to 5, right? So when I'm not producing any, when I'm not baking any, when I'm not making any video, I have the capacity of baking 15 cakes. When I'm making one video, it's only 14. 2, it'll be 12. 3, it'll be 9. 4, it'll be 5. And 5, it'll be 0. So like that, I can combine all these resources and create a graph. This graph is known as PPC. So this PPC, or the production possibility curve, will shows all the possible combinations of two goods that we can produce by using the existing resources within an economy or to a person. So in my case, my time is the resource that I have. By using those resources, either I can produce videos or I can bake cakes. But whenever I try to increase the number of videos that I produce, I have to give up on the cakes that I'm baking. So combining all these possible combination of two goods that we can produce, a production possibility curve is being created. So let's move to the definition. Production possibility frontier or production possibility curve shows all the maximum possible outputs. What are the maximum outputs that you can produce? Output combinations of two products that can achieve when all the resources are fully and efficiently being employed. So there are two important concepts here, right? It shows all the possible output combinations. Now in this case, by using the resources, if you are going to produce 5 robots, right, you have to use all your resources to produce robots, so you aren't able to produce any wheat here. But if you are only producing 3 robots, so rest of the resources can be used to produce 10 sacks of wheat. So like that, this is the maximum possible output combination that you can produce by using all the resources of the economy. So in a PPC curve, the area within this line shows the amount of resources in that economy. Okay, so this PPC curve has many advantages. We can use the PPC curve to show the key economic concepts that we have discussed so far. And earlier I told you, when you take a production possibility curve, that line shows the maximum possible outputs that you can produce by using the existing resources. So in such cases, you are fully using the resources. So in case if you want to show the concept of full employment of the resources, so the full employment of resources can be shown by any point on the curve. So any point that you are getting on the curve will shows fully using the resources in that particular economy. But if you find the point inside the curve, it means that you're not fully or efficiently using the resources. So we call it as unemployment. So in this scenario, let's assume that you are producing this number of goods and this number of other goods. So you have the ability to increase the production up to any of these levels. So you are not using these resources, or you are inefficiently using the resources. In that case, any point inside the curve will show the unemployment of the resources or the society, right? On the other hand, when there is scarcity, scarcity means not having enough resources. And I told you, resources are being shown by this area. So since you are not having enough resources, that has to be shown a point outside the curve. So these are the three ways to show these three main economic concepts by using the production possibility curve. A point on the curve is full employment. A point inside the curve is unemployment, while any point outside the curve is known as scarcity. All right. With that, I'm moving to the next concept, which we call as opportunity cost. And we know that opportunity cost is the next best alternative, or the next best choice that we have to give up when we are making our choice. So when there is opportunity cost, we always know that there are few selections, and once a person made a selection, whatever the second best one won't be able to achieve. So I'm using the first example that I used, right? I have the capacity of making videos and baking cakes by using the time that I have. So since my time is a limited factor, I always have to give up on something whenever I try to produce the excess of the another thing. So as is here, when I try to increase my production from 0 to 1, I have to give up on one cake. And then again, when I have to increase another video, I have to give up 2 cakes. When I'm moving from third to fourth unit, in order to increase one product, I have to give up 4 cakes. Like that, whenever I'm trying to increase something, I have to give up on another product. So if you are at point X and if you are moving to point Y, so then this movement causes for sacrifice in a certain product, and that is what we called as opportunity cost. And we can show the opportunity cost on the production possibility curve in this way. All right. So when it comes to a production possibility curve, then we need to discuss about shifting the production possibility curves. So as I told you earlier, I told that whenever there is a production possibility curve, that line shows the amount of resources in the economy. So this is the amount of resources. So we usually assumes that in the short run, you cannot change the amount of resources in the economy. But when it comes to the long run, right, we have the capacity of either increasing the amount of resources or decreasing the amount of resources. So that is shown by using the shifts in the production possibility curve. Now, when it comes to the resources, resources are also known as factors of production. And we know that there are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So, when you take capital, enterprise, land, and labor, these factors of production either can be increased quantity wise or can be increased quality wise in the long run. So when you try to increase the quantity or quality of the 4 factors of production, we call it as a reason for a shift in the PPC curve to the right. So you can use this key term to remember this: increase in Q2 cell, increase in quantity and quality of the 4 factors of production would result in shifting the PPC curve to the right, because it will improve or it will increase the amount of resources in an economy. So these are few examples for the situations where quantity or quality wise the 4 factors of production would increase. When you are trying to find the new resources, the land as a quantity will increase. Due to the improved technology, capital of the business will increase. Health and education could improve the labor force of the economy. Training and skill development also improve the labor force of the economy. And while having net migration means that more people are moving to our country, so we get more labor within the country. So that's also increase in factor of production. So if there is any quantity or quality wise improvement in factor of production, that can shift the PPC curve to the right. Not only that, when it comes to the shifts in the curve, it can be happen only in one way as well. If I take an example, let's assume that there is a economy where they are producing rice and education. So in that case, let's assume the training and development gave to the teachers would increase, or there is a new training program which is being given to the teachers. So in that case, the improvement in the labor would be only affected to the educational sector. So the curve will only shift to the right from the education side, but not from the production of rice side. So this is the way to show the shift in the PPC curve to the right. On the other hand, we are discussing about how to shift the PPC curve to the left. So when the PPC curve shifts to the right, the amount of resources in the economy will increase. So in contrary, when the PPC curve shifts to the left, the amount of resources would decrease. So it can happen quantity wise or quality wise. So when the 4 factors of production would decrease quantity wise or quality wise, so we call as reduction in Q2 cell, right? The curve will shift towards the origin, or it will shift to the left. So usually natural disasters, civil wars or things like that would destroy the amount of land, labor and the machineries which is existing in the which is existing in the economy, and those situations curves can shift to inside. So let's try to summarize what we discussed so far. So PPC is a curve, right, that we use to show uh, maximum possible output combinations that we can produce by using the existing resources of the country. And we can use the PPC curve to show the different concepts such as full employment, which is on the curve, and if it is a point inside the curve, we call it as unemployment, and if the curve is if the point is outside the curve, we call it as scarcity. And whenever we want to show the concept of opportunity cost, I told you opportunity cost is the next best alternative that you forgone. So when you move from point X to point Y, you have to sacrifice this particular product in order to obtain the other product. So this is the way that we are using PPC curve to show the concept of opportunity cost. And other than that, if there is an increase in Q2 cell, that means increase in quantity or quality wise in the factors of production, that will shift the curve to the right, right? While if there is a decrease in Q2 cell, right, that will shift the production possibility curve to the left. Thank you.